Don't want them to end. AMICO is my pal, my buddy, my friend. Let's come together again. Mom, dad, sister, brother, and best friend.
Welcome, everyone. And we have the one, the only, Papa Pete in the house. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. We're here to talk about a few homebrews tonight.
Oh, my goodness, yes. And, of course, we got the Retro Advisory Board, always dropping knowledge. And Nick, the Geek Storian. Shing. I wish I had two swords to slam together. That's what always reminds me of your intro.
I gotta get the live chat up. I'm a little behind tonight. Hang on.
Oh yeah, let me say hello to chat, and then we're gonna get into it because we got a lot of stuff.
Hold the torches out here.
Dan Ruff in the house.
I'm glad I wasn't like taking a drink just then. I would have spit out a lot of rum.
Northside in the house. Camaro 1968. Camaro, what's going on? Just another viewer says, Papa Pete, Papa Pete. Everybody's saying all hail Papa Pete. Casey Nidell in the house. Radical Gamer Guy, what's going on? Mickey Phantom, of course. And Sweet and Tender Hooligans. You know, when I'm down to just my socks, Flight of the Conchords.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember that one.
You know what? I'm going to drink more. It might make sense to me.
Blakes, no, thank you. That's awesome. Please subscribe to everyone here, man. I appreciate that. Blood and Teeth in the house. It's of course jumping all the time. And it's Chuck with the what's the guy from Devil's Rejects? I forgot his name. With that avatar.
I never watched Devil's Rejects.
Tom.
I'm not a big horror fan.
What is it?
Is it Tom? I have no idea.
It's Bob.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have the Punch Out poll.
He does look like a Bob.
Sweet. Oh my goodness. Blitzkrieg in the house. What is happening?
Hey, Blitzkrieg.
You guys think it's... I actually have a little news on that. I didn't even get a chance to tell anybody before we got on because we kind of jumped into it. But I do have a little bit of news. I did do a reach out to Intellivision, and I got a little bit of news about the news.
Oh, wow.
So, I think I see everyone. Sean, what's happening, man? You had a great stream the other day. Good to see you. He's playing that BPM boy, which is like a Marble Madness with like... It reminds me of like Marble Madness and SXX because it was like music playing as you got better at doing like the tricks with the marble. He has like headphones on. I don't know. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. D. Reed in the house. Cool. Cameron Hayes, what is happening? Darkside says, "Who the F is this Geekstorian imposter?" Apparently,
I'm a total hack, sir. A total hack.
Slappy Marsden in the house. What's happening?
Hey, Slappy.
Sorry, once it gets up to around 50, it starts jumping really bad, so I apologize if I'm skipping. Rhea in the house. Rhea, you had an awesome TurboGrafx stream. I am so glad I got a chance to saw that. I'm sorry if I kept like going, do this, because it's like every time I see somebody
else felt my pain on Ninja Spirit. I love that game, but it hates me so much.
ADM 712. Good evening. What's happening? Retro Tech and Toys, give it a few months for an update. Exactly. Well, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Back from the dead. What is going on? Oh my goodness. Oh, and it's this guy, Panda Sub.
I know Panda's here.
Howdy, gang. Nice to see.
He's been kind of like chit-chatty all day today. I think he's still a little under the weather.
Yeah.
Because normally he goes dark when he's feeling well because he's like busy on projects.
TV.
Panda, I found the cowgirl's mom from your videos. It's good research.
feel like I need more drinking for that. I
You
can
do.
actually drink
Please,
tonight
like,
because I'm off tomorrow, so I'm not working a window tonight.
Finally.
TurboGrafx is for hardcore gamers. It is. It's kind of crazy. Poppy Pete brings all the fans to the yard. You're right. So anyways, yeah. So I did just maybe I'll wait for a few more people to get here. Yeah, I could say it now, and then I'll just be like, watch the beginning. I'll be one of those hosts that just goes, go to the beginning if you missed the news. So I did reach out to Intellivision. They are hoping to have an announcement update for you guys within this week. At the most, maybe a couple weeks. And they got some very good things happening. It'll be good news. And what they're doing is, obviously, like we know, they're trying to work tirelessly at these production units to get out to those 25, like they said in the email. So they are really trying to make sure, as you know, Phil is quite a stickler to make sure everything runs perfectly and everything's running smooth and they work properly. And they are going to take their time, unfortunately, because they have a smaller staff now to make sure that's happening. But good things are happening, and hope to hear some news. Like I said, they're hoping within a week, but they want to make sure they have everything together before they do a statement. And it is good news. But yeah, they're
taking your time and getting the statement.
Yeah, I know. Right? Well,
this thing
is that he doesn't want to put
out. Need to do.
He doesn't want to put out something just to put something out. He wants to actually put out something of substance. So that's
absolutely.
He's just making sure everything's ready, and so to do that. So
yeah, I couldn't agree with that methodology more. Particularly this
he wants more of a quality product than to have it go, oh man, we got to get this out because everybody needs to have this out. It's like, no, now that they're actually in this process of going to manufacture these units, they want to make sure everything is top. They want to make sure everything is functioning absolutely properly. I mean, you don't want to do it like the Playdate did, even though this is the small little production run. They don't want to do. Yeah, exactly. Within a week.
The Playdate's delay wasn't that bad. I mean, their supplies are still kind of tight, but I think there's just a lot of demand.
They went into mass
there's
production.
More demand for that little thing than anybody thought there was going to be.
They went into a mass production before they made thousands and thousands of units and then went, oh man, there's a battery problem.
Yeah.
And so this is, even though this is only the first 25 production units or 20 or whatever it's supposed to be, they don't want, they want to check the same thing because these are the units that are going to be based on the mass. Yeah. So if everything works good with these, that's kind of what they just want to make sure everything is working perfectly.
Yeah. But to be fair,
I need to get on a waiting list for one of those little things because the more I see Gogan go play with it, the more I want one.
Pete, have you had this? This is really good.
I have not had that. No, I've not really dove much into Blue Moon. Isn't it kind of like a citrusy style beer? Yeah,
it's like an orange citrus. This Moon Haze has a little bit of bitterness, like an IPA, but very, very subtle, and it has a little more. It says like dried oranges. When it's brewed, it has like a bunch of dried oranges in it. Yeah. So it gives it a little more orange flavor. I think a actual orange slice in this would make it taste a little bit better.
That's how Blue Moon was normally served every time I've seen it, with like an orange slice.
Yep. Yeah, that's their brand. I would say going back to the Playdate, even if you take your time, you try to get everything perfect. Even the professional manufacturers who have done this multiple times get things wrong. So you want them to do everything right. You want them to, not have egg on their face when they launch this thing. They already have a lot of, negativity from the community. So there's not really anywhere they can go by rushing it out and having a bad product. So, they've got to do it. They've got to do it right. I would appreciate more communication. And if they're looking to communicate in the next week to 2 weeks, then that tells me 2 to 3 weeks. But
that's what I'm saying.
Look forward to hearing something from them.
Yeah, please don't take a timestamp from me, please.
I just want to make sure it's not like next Wednesday and they're like, it's been a week, or it's Saturday evening and like within the week, and this is this Saturday and you haven't heard anything. If their intentions are within a week or two, something can push that back. If there's 20 people working on television, 10 people working, you don't know.
Say something, they're gonna have it 100% certain.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it needs to be. And I'm okay.
Yeah, he's not just
going
to say something.
Because it's been so long.
Yeah.
That we've been kind of around this. The last thing that I think any of us want is like another misstep anywhere, right? So making sure that everything's ready and clean is the right way to go in my mind, right?
Stability. He's a stickler for stability. He wants to make sure this unit is stable and ready to go 1,000%. Instead of going, oh, we need to fix this, we need to fix this. Oh man, we should have maybe took a little extra few weeks or a month to make sure this was okay, because I don't think it's like, let's rush this out by Christmas. It's more or less, let's get this ready for manufacturing soon, you know? Yeah. And that's the whole reason for these units as well.
I think at this point, any movement is good at this point. It at least shows some promise. Whereas we've been kind of like going,
yeah, it's been a lot of stagnant time.
It's been a whole lot for a very long time.
That's what he really wants to get it out this week, by end of week or early next week. But it's once again, if it happens in a couple weeks, he just wants to make all his info is ready so that, you know, it's good stuff coming. I don't know what the good stuff is, but it's good stuff coming, he said. So anyway, so that's and he knows everybody's waiting, and he wants to put it out just as fast, you know. But he wants it
out almost faster than anybody. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and it will be directly from them. It'll be from them, not just me talking. You know, so it'll actually be from them. Yeah, I can wait at least another 2 years. Hey, we all have. Right?
Shut up, so Papa Pete can talk.
Yeah. Anyways,
sorry, Pete.
Yeah, maybe I don't have anything to say. I'm listening.
We get the AMICO stuff out early, so we could talk about all the stuff we normally talk about on here, which is other stuff.
Everything else. Yeah.
Everything else.
So
I'm kidding.
I will address the one thing though that Commodore said. Papa Pete, did you hear about the thing about Tommy being a Hall of Famer? What do you think about that? I think the rest of the panel answered last week. Did you guys answer that last week?
I don't know. I remember people. I haven't really even followed it. I guess it's the.
I have no idea what it is, even frankly. I
just
assume he's probably going to a video game Hall of Fame.
Wasn't it like an honorary thing for like some support or something?
Probably be in the. Sorry,
I believe it was. Oh, you talk about the whole baseball thing or something? That he was honorary Hall of Fame because he went to like a million.
We went to the Yankees spring training camp
all the time,
a number of years.
Yeah. For many years actually. So they gave him like an honorary thing. So I don't understand what the whole controversy is.
What would be anybody's opinion on that other than good for him?
Right. I mean, I guess just people have nothing to grasp on.
Okay, cool. Good. I didn't know if that was something else. Like I thought maybe because I mean, you know, we all know he's got more with his music history. He's got more credits in video games than anybody else. So of course you would think if there was a Hall of Fame, he would be the top guy in the music aspect of video games. So of course he'd be in a Hall of Fame if there was one, right? So
yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I mean, it's like a university bestows an honorary degree. What do you think about that? Good, great.
Good.
I mean, if the organization thinks he's bringing value to them, and
videos, they're all over the place. You know, I have a million videos on me too. Go for it. Knock yourselves out. I don't care.
I mean, they do stuff. They do those honorary degrees all the time, particularly if you like especially like the super elite and wealthy that like dedicate entire wings and stuff like that. A lot of times they'll give them an honorary degree and make them alumni and all this other stuff because. I mean, to them at that point, it's just a piece of paper. They've already basically paid, you know, their dues on this.
And I don't want to say like an MIT honorary degree is the same as I don't know. I'm not familiar with the story. I don't know if it's the Yankees minor league affiliate or the I know we did spring training camp down in Florida or the summer league or the winter league that they have down there. I don't know, you know, what the Hall of Fame is. I don't know enough about the story, but if they're bestowing a thanks in that way, then okay,
good for him.
Yeah,
I want one too.
Yeah, I
go to the Mets games. I will take my Hall of Fame.
People care about that so much. They're all like, "But he said he was a Hall of Fame." I'm like, I wish I cared. It's whatever.
Well, there comes a point where you just argue like the phrasing of words for semantic reasons, not for any real purpose. I mean, if they want to put him in there as an honorary member of the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Cool.
Dude,
I don't care.
A decade worth or more of training camps and hung out and played and of course.
I have a brass plaque of my favorite bar stool at my local pub, but you know, I really don't. You know, I don't see where it's a big deal.
I used to have I wasn't really like a nameplate or anything on it, but they knew that I sat there.
I come in, they have to move. No, I'm just kidding.
They just rub it. This is where Pete sat.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, so apparently the controversy is from ADM 712 here. It says, alleged on his LinkedIn page, he was a New York Yankees Hall of Famer. He was just called out on some channels for embellishing what he said. Okay.
All right, so
okay, whatever.
Who cares? I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to like.
I mean, that seems kind of like a nothing burger to me, really. But
yeah,
I mean,
it's just another way to dig at Tommy. The whatever, man.
I don't spend my days trying to find like obscure things.
I don't like who's searching LinkedIn pages, man. Like really?
Yeah.
I probably know a couple that were probably doing that, but
that's a level of creeping.
CT. But anyways, more power to him. Maybe I should go to the Yankees and get a honorary thing. And then people
what did we
can
learn today? Don't embellish your
videos
resumes.
on how I said
Nobody
it. And I shouldn't say it.
Yeah, nobody ever embellishes or phrases their resume in such a way to try to better their odds of getting a job. Nobody does that.
Never done that.
I've spearheaded 27 things on this CV.
Yeah. Felt like a television entertainment is gearing up. I felt it in the AMICO force, like Elvis once said. It's now or never. Phil realizes, you're right. You're right. This is now or never.
True.
Man.
It's very true.
75 because I don't want to be like that the moment before, like we lost Elvis.
So, anyways,
I'm not drunk enough for this stream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm drinking the Moon Haze, which is, I think that's a 6%er. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good. And then I also got a backup after that, a Samuel Adams October.
Pete has water.
Water?
Whoa, yeah. I think it's straight vodka right there. I think you just found straight vodka. What are you drinking, Rab?
A Hefeweizen.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, Hefeweizen's good. I
love a good Hefeweizen. I love wheat beers in general. But is it Windmere or Windmere is like one of my favorite Hefeweizens.
Oh, I love that brand. I've got those. Yeah, we got those down here. Those are really good.
But anyways, so I'm just watching some of these. Okay. All right. So the whole reason we have our special guest on is to talk about some insanely amazing brand new games for your original Intellivision.
Yeah. They became available at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight.
Nice.
There's 2 new games released by the brand new publisher, Intellivision Collector, on the IntellivisionCollector.com website, and it's Vanguard and the Show Must Go On. I haven't got boxes here to show you, but if you go onto the site right now, you'll see where they're available. You can check them out, and I've streamed them. I
got that. Let me pull that up.
Right on.
Yeah, let me pull that up.
He is prepared.
Oh, I'm sort of prepared. It takes me a second, but I get there.
Wait, Chuck's prepared? He never prepares when it's just us.
I know. I you know what? Sometimes I had to pull out the big guns and prepare.
You got to impress the ladies and Papa Pete.
Where am I at? There we go. So this was Pete the other night, yesterday actually. This is a homebrew of the arcade port homebrew of the game Vanguard. I remember this a lot on the Atari 2600, but this is almost looks like the arcade, to be honest. It's very well ported. And Pete, who is this made by? Is this Intellivision Collector?
This is published by the Intellivision Collector. It's the programmer is the Golden Bat, which is a lot along the lines of like Dr. Ports, who we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah. Oh man, I got that Wizard of War.
Yeah.
But this was a great looking game, man.
So you know, the address is down on the bottom of the screen right there. Last night I streamed at 8 o'clock Eastern, and at 8 o'clock Eastern there was a special pre-sale where you could actually go in and pre-sale as in full sale. It was open just for early sales for that address right there to viewers of the video. Mm-hmm. So now it's not available at that address. That address is gone. It's just IntellivisionCollector.com. You'll find them right there on the main page. They went up about an hour and 54 minutes ago.
Nice.
So, and there's more games to come from Intellivision Collector this fall.
Yeah, Potion, what's happening, man? TJ in the house. What's happening? Good to see you.
It looks great.
I mean, for Intellivision, this looks pretty phenomenal.
It plays nicely too, guys.
Yeah, this looks like it moves pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Now, is this you messing with it, Peter? Or is this just like some recorded footage that you got.
No,
here.
this is I'm playing.
He was live streaming.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
streaming.
really clean.
Yeah,
for the
talk about
diagonal scrolling on the Intellivision. This is where it gets really impressive.
Yeah, honestly, this kind of scrolling on this early of a system is hugely impressive. This wasn't done very often, not in this era.
Yeah, this looks. So this is one I think I'm gonna buy first. This one, and then there's another one which we're gonna show in a second that he did on the stream is Show Must Go On. But look how good. I mean, is it arcade perfect? No, but it's pretty darn close. I mean, you remember this was an early '80s game.
Yeah.
Well, look at something like this compared to the actual Vanguard. Look at what was
Vanguard in the arcade? Right? What was its release?
Oh yeah. What's that?
So what was the release for Vanguard in the arcade?
81,
82,
81?
Okay.
81 or 82, yeah.
So this would be pretty spot on because 81. I mean, you might have had a little more graphical fidelity because you had a dedicated board, but not by much.
But I mean, this is definitely one to get, man. There is so many good ones out there, and right now, and mind you, if anyone's like a Intellivision fan, obviously we got about 60 in chat right now, or whoever else is lurking. Yeah, if you ever were an Intellivision fan, and wanted to know how to play
Is that an iMagic style box there, Pete?
No, this is just in a plastic protector.
Okay.
The Atari one. You were asking about the year. The Atari one is copyright 82.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Vanguard is 81. That would come out.
Yeah, so it must have 81 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are looking a way to play these games, and there's over 100, almost like 150 homebrews. There's more homebrews than there was original games released for this original Intellivision. And all you do is plug in an old Intellivision and you plug it in. That's it. You play it exactly like you play your old games.
Yep. And honestly, I'm kind of loving this trend because they're doing this on NES. They're doing it on Genesis. Matter of fact, they kind of done it on Genesis because I know PandaSub mentioned one.
There's
they
a couple
converted over to Genesis.
There was the one
that was
Dreamcast
not that long ago. So it's even getting ports before like GameCube and a couple of those consoles.
Yeah, but like this was like, so you got like a whole insanely brand new library of hundreds of games that they're up every year. So like Intellivision Collector, Intellivision Revolution. There's a couple other sites, like Electro Knights, another great one. But yeah, I'm so impressed with some of these. I have a Wizard of War, which I'm sure Pete is going to talk about those next.
Dude, but that section he was in just now is really freaking impressive. That's a lot of stuff for the Intellivision to process on screen.
It just shows how much that if someone sits down and actually takes the time to do everything possible with the game instead of having a deadline. To be honest, that's what it was back then. Everybody had a there's the shrimp level. I always called them the shrimp.
So Hasselhoff wants to know if this is assembly language or IntelliBasic for Vanguard, and I can't answer that question. I haven't dug into these homebrews.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's
programming.
If it's basic, or I think it's Inti-Basic, but it may very well be assembly language. Frankly, possibly. I'm not 100% sure though.
I mean, with the how smooth this is running and how much stuff you have on screen, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to do this in assembly language just to get down to the hardware level.
Sure.
To try to eke out all the performance they could get. That would be hugely time consuming though.
So Dorkside was asking us how many games use IntelliVoice. Well, originally it was the 4.
Yeah.
Now there's a
World Series Major League Baseball.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I thought there were 6.
Yeah.
I thought there were 6. Or am I on?
Well, the homebrews. There's a ton of homebrews.
There's a lot of homebrews that do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there voice on this Vanguard?
There was supposed to be something for the educational for the Tudor Vision. I thought that was supposed to be lined up for the voice.
Magic Carousel was supposed to be IntelliVoice. It never got released.
That's true too. I forgot about that.
And seems to be Number Jumble, which was for the ECS, seems to be an IntelliVoice as well.
Yeah, Dorkside kind of asked me about the IntelliVoice the other day, and I've kind of been avoiding that for the interim on channel. There's been a lot of
so this one here
randomly, so I've been kind of avoiding it as
They're talking a lot. They'd like to hear that. One day, if they want to hear the music on these games, they can go to my channel and watch the actual stream because the music is quite clear. It's a little harder in this atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I did kind of turn it down. Let me turn it up just a little bit.
But Vanguard has good music and sound. Like when you adjust the voice for Vanguard is changing between the different styles of shooting, 1, 2, and 3, and I really do enjoy that. I like that. The problem with the music in here is I'm going to be blabbing in the background too as I play. But
you have to be careful. The P guy's going to copyright strike you, dude.
yeah, right. This is ultimate copyright striking right here, right? I'm like, no, here's the proof. They're both here. Look, both of them.
The music in this game is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I think I've seen this one. This is the one where you play the jester or whatnot that's trying to spin all the discs.
All the plates, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to impress the king in between, and he keeps you going while the jester that was fired is trying to sabotage you.
Do it once I turned off my mic and turned it back on when I coughed.
Okay, so Hasselhoff is saying that
will sound okay.
Electronite has been publishing a lot of anti-basic games recently. That they're good quality titles, but the cart size is a bit of an issue.
The game is kind of hard because that means I think the larger the programming, the larger the more KUs it has to go to JLP boards, which I'm not freaking technical. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a on my I think it was my Hover Bover or my Rick Dynamite video. There's a subscriber that had posted about that, or no, it might have been actually on the Astro Smash Mondays video. The stream in the comments someone posted about all the different how they do the carts, how they do the banking into the carts to select how many K, but it's insane the amount they can put on there now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying the other day. There's a way, like there's a limit for each one, but then they use banking to overcome those limits. And that's
that makes sense. Anti-basic would be larger than assembly language, and assembly language is basically the closest you can come to programming in ones and zeros for you guys that don't know. It's not quite that basic, but a lot of stuff is moving things around in specific parts of memory in order to allocate space, clearing out certain space, and then declaring all your variables, declaring memory for all of them. It's very tedious and time consuming. I've only ever done it in college. Anti-basic, I would imagine, would be a lot more like basic for like a normal computer, which would need to be compiled, which would generally be a lot larger than assembly when it was done and compiled together. If it's assembly, you can just access stored graphics and sounds. Yeah, that would make sense because you're accessing everything directly as off. Yeah, that would make absolute sense. Whereas with anti-basic, I would imagine you'd have to go through like some sort of like function or feature in order to access the same thing, which would probably be multifunctional and kind of bulky.
Now, the programmer for this game is Carlos.
Oh, so I can't even assess those. Okay.
Okay,
got it.
Who is it, Carlos? Carlos who?
Carlos Madruga, who also programmed Heli. What else? Good Enough, the collector vision.
Oh, the Goonies one, yes.
Yeah.
Various other games. Anyway, Carlos has done now. Trying to think of all the ones he did last year.
He shows up every year for your Best of Homebrew awards.
Yeah, there's 27 different homebrew games in the Intellivision Homebrew Awards for 2021. 27 different ones released in 2021.
Wow.
2022 is going to be bigger.
Yeah,
there will be more. With the not only the introduction of Intellivision Collector in the lineup with several games, but there's a lot more games promised over the fall from these different companies, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and the board shortage is starting, I think, to alleviate a little bit.
Well, that was like a big thing because I had pre-ordered the Kai Magazine's The Sorrow of Galdon Thor.
Yeah,
which is a great adventure game, and I was like really looking forward to it. And it's been into the second year now. I haven't seen it, but I mean I understand because they're waiting on these boards to get
Hey, C-March, have you heard anything on that lately, Chuck? An email or anything on
Galdon Thor? Nothing. The last thing I saw was I think something before Christmas last year, and they said you could get the ROM. They were offering the ROM, and I have no way to do ROMs here, so until I get like an Ultimate or something. So yeah, I was like, no, I'm still waiting for my box copy and cartridge. He's like, you're just waiting on board. We're just waiting. I said, well, then it'll come when it comes. I've been I'm a pretty patient guy, as we all know. I think we all are.
We've all had to be. But I think your weight is that was tougher because the majority of the weight is behind.
Yeah. C-Mart says, I believe the boards are en route for that game. So that's
exactly.
Awesome.
I'm sure they are. Yeah.
So let me ask a dumb question here, and you guys may or may not know this. How much cart memory can the Intellivision actually process? Because I know there was like I know there was a ROM limitation due to like space.
Is it 16 or 32?
Time, right?
Oh, we could do like 32K?
Oh, 32. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I was thinking it was 32K, but then they could do Joe's V-Check developed a board that will do bank switching. And so you could have 32K, and then you'll have another 32, another 32, another 32, another 32, and it switches back and forth between the groups of 32. So
how big are they making carts on this thing then?
But it jumps to different ones to get different aspects of the game. So in essence, with a JLP board, they can be bigger, they can be larger, and they are larger.
So how large are they making the games now then?
Well, something like Sorrow of Godlan Thor, I think, is quite large. Like I think it's in hundreds, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane what they could fit now. On this.
They are. Okay, so the people in the chat understand that conceptually what we're talking about here. An average cart on something like an Atari or an Intellivision was somewhere between like 4 and 8K, maybe 16K.
Right, you're right about 4.
I don't know.
ROM storage was ROM memory was very, very expensive. So it was not cost effective to make games very big.
The original Pac-Man was 4K. They were cheap.
Right.
They didn't want to go with the 8K. They were having ROM issues getting those.
Right. So when you started hitting the NES, you started hitting like 120, 127K.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between like the Intellivision and Atari 2600 breadth of area, those generations, and the NES, right? So when you're starting talking about Intellivision carts being able to do like close to like say 200K, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
As long as it's able to work with the original system, it's kind of it's still because that's we were talking about this yesterday. I'd mentioned to Pete like back when the Homebrew started, a lot of people were like, well, you can't upgrade the carts because I'm like, but if they're still working off the original hardware, you can do whatever you want to that cart. Is if it fits into that slot and makes a good game, it's legit.
You
man.
think about the situations that occurred, like for example with Lock and Chase, which I did in the 125 back a couple Christmases ago, and it was one that was done on a 4K board. And when it push came to shove, I'm trying to think of the guy's name who did it, but anyway, he could not do it in 4K, and it was a big friggin' deal for them to authorize him to use 6K, and it still missed a lot of. Still lacked a lot of features, which then later on they developed into an 8K board or 8K program, which never got released on a board. Now there are some available that were released later on, and you can get the ROM in 8K. And it does things like the lupin will fall into its hat, and it's much more smooth trying to turn corners. So there's a definite advantage to the 8K program, and that's just the difference between 4K and 8K. So there were very few. I think, for example, maybe some of the larger cartridges would have been the sound cartridges, and it seems to me, I'm thinking Space Spartans, B-70 bombs are like 12K, and that's why they cost $45 upon release instead of the $35. Okay, but it was so expensive. Well, now the cost isn't the issue; it's getting the hardware to be able to run and read from that.
That was why my question was the way it was.
1 gig friggin' SD card at 1980 some. Hardware.
Oh,
so that's how the bank switching comes in, where they keep it in the small enough chunks for the hardware to manage, but it can jump point to point, so it only ever tries to read the small bit one at a time.
So keep in mind, guys, around this era, memory, like I said before, memory is expensive, but you're talking like a penny a bit, and that doesn't sound a lot, but start multiplying that up until like a kilobyte. Yeah. By the time you hit a terabyte, it's an astronomical number. Matter of fact, I think I posted my video on carts on my Geekstorian channel. Actually kind of goes into some of that math. And you can see how dumb the translation gets as you start adjusting for inflation for modern day prices. It's some sort of like astronomically crazy, like 2 billion plus number for like 1 terabyte that you buy now for like $15.
To fit in something that's, remember, we're still talking about cartridges. They're this big.
Right.
Right.
And then I know with the original, I'd heard an interview with Don Daglow at one point where he was talking about the memory, the RAM on the original Intellivision, that they had several slots that were set aside for the original play cable, and they were like not able to ever touch that. Even like the original, they had that from conception. They knew that they were going to do a digital download cable accessory, so they wanted to keep that separate, and they weren't told about for developing games. They could never utilize that. You know, in some of these homebrews, is any of the systems able to work around that to get more out of some of these newer games that the older games could never do because of some of those limitations?
Oh yeah.
Darkside asks, oops, hold on, my thing's sticking there. There it goes. Darkside was asked, "Is that your cat? And is it a fighter?"
You might have to do several of those in a row because we've ignored deliberate calls for cat fighter for a while now.
Okay,
I think
that is a maybe.
hinted at it, and there's been a couple of other people that were kind of requesting.
Oh, speaking of
Cat pacifist.
Look this way.
Cat in a basket.
Your cat makes me miss my Nemo. She's so cute.
Sweet and Tender was asking about Commodore 64. I guess there's a Sonic game, Homebrew, that was made for 64, a Commodore 64, and I guess it's pretty good.
I did not scroll well. Really?
Oh, I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
I didn't see that game. I'm just.
Oh! You're saying the Commodore didn't scroll well? Like to me, the Intellivision.
I don't know, dude. They even tried to do like Mega Man on some of those, and it looked painful.
I remember the Mega Man on DOS that looked painful.
Versus Garfield.
Yeah, it was like this weird, like light blue magenta color everywhere that was very common in those kinds of computer games at the time.
But again, I mean, if the hardware updates and the emulators that they're running on and putting this on can work it, then more power to them. I just know back in the day it was slow.
Yeah, no, I never. I mean, the only thing I remember playing, we had it at I
really want to hear the Sonic song though on the C64 though. That would be nice to hear.
I mean, I remember Ghostbusters would do boop 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 boop. Remember, it would just like had a little bouncing ball. That was my game.
Somebody kept talking up the Master System version of the Ghostbusters game, and I've only ever played the NES version.
It reminds me more.
They're
all the same premise. Like every one of those, all three of those games, the Commodore, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, came out first, and then it was the Sega and Nintendo after. But the better version was the Commodore 64 by far. I mean, I'm sorry, that was just the best. And it probably because it's the first one I ever played, and it was right when the movie came out. It literally came out and the movie was still in theaters. I remember us playing it, and the movie was still in the theater, if I'm not mistaken, unless I'm off about a year. But we went as a group because we went to one of those because now mind you, I was a lot younger. We went to my parents would both work, and so I was too young to be home alone. So it was one of those centers, like those I don't want to say learning center. It was like a summer school, not a summer school, but like an activity center. And it was called Children's World. They're not around anymore. Juvie, that's what it was. Yeah. Then there was these bars, and we were fed meals and yelled at and beaten. Bread and water was really good there. I don't know.
Somebody asked if who my favorite character of the Trailer Park Boys was, so I had to share that picture, Chuck.
Oh, I think I remember this. Nice. Nice.
Hard to beat Mr. Leahy. He was an absolute friggin' genius. But
that's so great.
Mike Smith is a genius too. Bubbles, for sure.
Oh man. And he's the one with always has the cats, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
The one just to the left of you, I swear I've seen him do sea shanties before. And it's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. They have a great one.
That's great.
Sea shanty out just recently last year.
That's awesome. Oh my god, that's so great. No, but so you were saying right now, going back to the homebrews. So Intellivision Collector and Intellivision Revolution is another one that has a bunch available for, because I know there's Frankenstein's Monster is another new one. The Unlucky Ponies Adventures. and a few others that I was like, there's Castle of Death, which looks really fun. I think we actually showed that the other day, and then you were playing something. Oh, it might have been Show Is Go On like a couple weeks ago. I actually showed that on here, and that's what got me the idea. I was like, oh man, you need to come on.
Yeah, they got D Felter on there, Frankenstein's Monster right now. Frankenstein's Monster and Castle of Death are by Oscar Toledo G, right? Nano Chess. And then you got Brian Puddin's first release, Keystone Cops.
Yeah,
that's available on there right now.
Keystone Coppers.
Get the old diehards of Intellivision, which as long as people keep buying Intellivision, they're going to be available. Right. Speaking of that, let's just go to. I'll show you some of
the
old
say,
stack.
Show them Intellivision, because if they haven't seen that,
that's
really impressive. Actually.
Oh my God, is that ever too?
Yeah, it's just a fantastic game. This right here, 2022 physical game of the year, and best packaging. And I think it was best music or something like that too.
I love that box art.
Three awards last year. Of the 6 awards, Intellivision won 3 of them. And of course, it's still available. You could buy it from Intellivision Revolution, and I just highly recommend it if you like it.
Oh well.
Yeah, the first time I remember seeing any hint of that game, I think Cyrus sent me a link to it, and I was incredibly shocked with what they were able to pull off with that early revision of hardware for a game that was
repeats on. Oh, there we go.
I don't think it was like launch on NES. I want to say it was a year or two after launch.
Now, what other one? Because I wanted to see. I see you got a stack there. You got some. I just go ahead and go through them. I just want to show.
Sure. So I'm
this is great.
Intellivision Revolution, the one I have, and one that I did in the Inti Homebrew Spotlight, which is a show that I do monthly now with some news involved as well. But I started off just by highlighting some homebrew games, and one of the ones I did is on this one, Heli, which is Hero. Again, it's a game by Carlos Madruga, released by Intellivision Revolution and available right now in Intellivision Revolution. It's been out of print, back in print. Again, Intellivision Revolution, if you're looking to get these games, this is a fantastic game. You can also buy the ROM from IntellivisionCollector.com if you have an Ultimate Flashback, or you have, and I should show you this right now. This is a very unique piece of hardware to let you play homebrews or any ROMs, frankly. The LTO Flash, which basically is a cartridge that you can hook into your computer and program on the different ROMs for different Intellivision games to allow you to play games in your original hardware. So if you have ROMs, you can put them on, you can play them with this. So like if you don't want to buy I don't want to collect physical copies, but I'd recommend you get the ROM. The ROM is like $16 Canadian, right? It's cheap for something like that. The programmers get 100% of the profits from Intellivision Collector on the ROMs. You buy them, you have an LTO Flash. They're sometimes very expensive, but when they release them, you can get one for under $200. And they're very much worth it because it'll let you play pretty much any game going on your original hardware, right?
Yeah. It's been a couple of years since they posted the LTO Flash for like new production, right?
They're coming.
Yeah.
They're coming. Heads up, they're coming again. And they will keep coming as long as there's a demand. And I'm sorry, there's a demand because people are selling them on eBay and stuff for $400, $600.
Yeah, I have an alert on eBay. I see those. Then I get depressed. I'm like, I have other things I gotta buy.
Right, but they are coming back. So if anybody's interested in that, they are coming back. Now here's one that's really kind of interesting as well. And it is, I don't know if it's really by Intellivision.
I was trying to figure that out the other day. I think it's Revolution sells it. I don't know if it's from them though.
Yeah, and right now, actually, you can buy this Rick Dynamite from the Intellivision Collector. Again, there's some copies available on there. Difficult game to play. It's an adventure style game. I can't remember what it's copied off of or whatever, but
the studio that did Tomb Raider, I think, did that game.
It's Rick something else that's not Dynamite. And
Rick Danger or something, right?
Rick Danger?
Rick Danger,
Okay, yeah, sounds absolutely right. So something else that people might not consider homebrews, but they really kind of are, is Blue Sky Rangers themselves have issued some homebrew games, which kind of is that homebrew when it's actually coming from the Intellivision company itself. That's when Intellivision Productions became Intellivision Entertainment, it basically split, became Intellivision Entertainment, and became the Blue Sky Rangers, which is owned by Steve Roney, main person. So he is producing games like this one, which is a really interesting story, because after Keith Robinson passed away, they went through the warehouse and they found a ton of Slapshot Super Pro hockey carts from the 80s, as well as manuals. Rick Dangerous. Yeah, C-Mart just had it on there, right on. And what they did is they didn't have the boxes, so they printed new boxes. These are original carts and manuals from the 80s. I think they must have reprinted the overlays as well. But the manuals and the cartridges are original, actually. So is that a homebrew? No, not really, but it's a subsequent release from Blue Sky Rangers. Other ones that they put out is Deep Pockets, which you've probably seen. It's been on, I think it's on the Flashback, and it's been on Intellivision Lives, because this was a game developed back in the 80s, but it never got released. It didn't get released, so they finished it up. And along that line is this one.
I hope so, Blitzkrieg. I really do. Eventually, that they do some AMICO, like a pack, like they do a 10-pack on for like, you know, a good price or something, to get like 10 of these originals on the when it comes out. I think that'd be great.
For sure. And I also said, you know, like we should take some of these properties. Intellivision could have, when things get settled, if they get settled, they can grab some of these properties that people have created if they're more open stuff, and maybe they can do remasters of these games as well. But for example, King of the Mountain, which is a very interesting game, again developed back in the 80s and worked upon for 20 years before it was released. Truth be known, there's actually a Super King of the Mountain that's out now, and you can get that from Intelligent Vision.
Is that a variation of like Mountain King, or is this a different game?
It's nothing like Mountain King on the Atari. No. Okay. No, completely different. You're basically climbing a mountain and you're avoiding bears and rain and rocks and just trying to get up the mountain. Yep. So I talked about Intelligent Vision there, but I'm going to show you this one real quick. Now, this is a bit of I won't say controversial, but it's a re-release of Spiker, which, of course, as most of us may know, is the most expensive, most rare game out of the original 125. So when it first got released, it was like, okay, so this is actually being released by Intellivision. Does this mean this now counts as part of the original 125?
Yes. Sure. Yes. You could have an asterisk, but yeah.
You could have an asterisk.
I agree, Rab.
Have yourself $1,800 or more.
The reality is, Rab, are you going to go out and spend $2,000 on a
no? And you know, if they found a warehouse with 2,000 unopened boxes of Spiker, then people who bought and paid for the 2,000 would like, this one counts because I've had all these years and these were unaccessible, so we're going to count it as like a re-release. Anything you can to kind of keep that separation of, I worked hard to get this one and you got it for $15. No, we're not going to dine at the same tables.
40 cases in Venezuela.
Yeah.
So back to Intelligent Vision, which is selling the Super Pro King of the Mountain. That's one thing. Intelligent Vision and Intellivision Revolution work together very well. They have a page called the ROMs Vault. There's a lot of ROMs there for sale. There's a lot of ROMs there that are free. Here's one that's for sale now, but they originally Intelligent Vision released it as a physical title, and I was on this right off the get-go. I pre-ordered this and picked it up. Battlestar Galactica Space Battle, as some of you may know, the original Space Battle, created in '79, was intended to be a Battlestar Galactica game because Mattel had the right to Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They found out later that it didn't transfer over to Mattel Electronics into their electronic games, so they lost it. Yeah. They just stripped it and it became just regular Space Battle. But Dave Harley from Intelligent Vision took this game, made a lot of tweaks to it to make Space Battle even better, and put it back in the Battlestar Galactica world. And even better than that, he took, and this is an IntelliVoice game, so people are asking about IntelliVoice games. Man, a lot of them use it. This basically just rehashes sound clips from the other games that are in the IntelliVoice.
I think the thing that makes me happiest about that one is they used the original Battlestar Galactica ships for it, as opposed to the revised ones. I like the revised ones, but there's something very iconic about the early 1970s ones.
I agree.
I thought you were going to stress that like they don't use the sound clips from Battlestar 1980. Like, no, please don't use that one.
I don't think I've seen the 1981. I've seen the original series and I've seen a lot of the new series.
You're not missing much.
I would say thousands of dollars, sweet and tender. As far the homebrews, they once they go out of print, they go up. Yeah. So like, just think of that as an investment. Like,
I have no idea.
$80 on a homebrew, and then it goes out of print in 5 years. I've seen I've seen my Ms. Pac-Man go for $400. I've seen it depends on who's listening too, but like I have
my motivation isn't money. Like,
I'd rather have them. I'd play them and collect them because they're brand new Intellivision games. So but I understand. Yeah.
So many friggin' times I bought a lot of games, like a group of games, especially back in the NES when I was collecting a little bit of NES. I thought I need those 6, and I could sell these 8. Okay, and it'll be great. I can make my money back, and I never get around to selling.
You never get around to selling them. Yeah.
So I never, stuff like this. With homebrews, for the most part, if I'm interested in it, I'm going to get it right off the get-go and not worry about if it's worth a lot more money to somebody later on. I don't care. I got it when it was $50 or $60, right? So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I'm good with that too. I really want to get I want to get that too, but I'm going to get that Vanguard. I think by end of week, I'm going to purchase that Vanguard.
So,
but
I have more to show if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love GoSub, by the way. I just saw that. Someone wants to know who does your intro jingle, your intro song.
It's somebody else. I said, ask that question right at the beginning about they knew who did it, but there's a little bit of a story behind it. And I said, remind me later, and I'll tell it. My intro song is by Dan from the Rebel Gaming Club, Dan O'Day, the bopper. He was originally the lead singer and guitarist for the River City Rebels through the 80s, punk band. Lives in New Hampshire. And he was a good friend of 64-Bit for Life's online, RGT and Jerps 93. And like my son was big into it. That's how I sort of get into it, was with his videos, right? I would go with him. And I've always been interested in this stuff, doing things like this since I was a kid. But I was born in an era where YouTube wasn't an issue. You used to do stuff on videotape, and it was like just never realistic. So when he get into it, I get into it. And then we went to Too Many Games, and I met Dan, and I talked to Dan all the time. I've done tons of clips, quite a few clips on the Rebel Gaming Club channel over the years. And when I started getting into my videos, you'll see my first very few pickups. The theme song isn't there. Dan got a hold of me and said, I want to write a theme song for you. Send me something. Like, what do you want to base it on? So I found this stupid picture meme. If you don't grow up by the age of 50, you don't have to. And I said, that sounds like me. So I was 49 at the time. I sent it to him, and we have the song that we have today. And I just can't believe how great it worked out. And I'll always appreciate Dan for doing that. But he's extremely talented.
It's catchy. It's very catchy too.
It's an incredibly good theme song. What was the vibe that you were expecting when you heard that he was going to do your theme song? Like, were you thinking it'd be in a different direction, or?
Yeah. I did. But, then he also said, he says, I'm thinking, let a lot of these guys have these theme songs at the start, like Sean did. RGT doesn't use it anymore, but Sean did back then. He had his theme song, and it was a montage, clip, 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 clip.
Yeah.
And Dan said,
and very heavy and fast.
Yeah, and Metal Jesus, same thing, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah,
the ones that And he said
kind of guitar shredding, and yours is like that metronome, just.
He said yours should be just laid back and just sort of panning across and just doing that. So he sort of gave me the idea, just not even how to do it, but he says yours should just be laid back, nice and relaxed, go right through, don't jump cut, just swing around and then be where it is. And that's exactly what he created. And then the video I did at the room, which doesn't look anything like it did then, but I can't change it because it worked. So why fix what isn't broken, I guess. So that was the whole story. Yeah. It was Dan's idea to keep it laid back and smooth. And that's the song he wrote and the video we made. So
it's funny. My last, I always have the little cutaways. I don't know if you see, I'm trying to remember. I've released like 3 videos in the last like 24 hours. But I had one of my cutaways at the end. I was like, because I had to put my game back, and I was like, wait, I should record myself putting the game back, turning around, giving the thumbs up, and have your end of your theme play. So I did that. So you got to check it out. So it comes back after the Gamers Guild thing. It comes back, and I'm popping the homebrew back onto the shelf, and it's saying, if you haven't grown up until the age of 50, you don't have to. And I gave the thumbs up, and it cuts. So awesome.
I was like, in that original clip, all the Atari games are right up here. And so I was doing little intro clips for Jeff and Stu on the Go channel for their chats on Wednesday night. And I just did a little parody of mine. So It's just a coincidence that the game, I just reached up and grabbed a game when I filmed that original things, the original clip, and it so happened I grabbed down 3D tic-tac-toe. So I did the clip for them. I adjusted my box and I turned it into 3D Go Game Go.
Nice.
Oh, that's freaking awesome.
So that's what's up there now.
All right. DJ, no, I'm not near Ferndale. Sorry. I'm near Detroit. I'm right like on the border of Detroit.
I heard you talk about Go Sub before, Chuck. You really like that?
I love it.
Right back.
Yeah, sure.
I had a hard time with it. I found it very hard.
Really, it's challenging. I got through because there's the 2 versions. I got the one that has Super Pro Go Sub on it as well. Yes. And that one that's the story mode. I've gotten through, I think, 2 worlds on that. I'm having a hard time getting farther. But I probably do another video on that. I did one a long time ago, but anyways. But yeah, right. So those are some good ones. Those are some really, and mind you, we're talking about original Intellivision homebrews. There's just a ton of new ones coming out every single year.
Yeah.
And these plug into your original Intellivision, and there's I want to say at this point there's over 150 homebrews. That's more than there was original release.
Still there may know the actual number. You may.
Yeah, like C-Mart was just saying, what did he say earlier about a fortress? I wonder what that would go to. The original Philly fortress.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Insane, insane.
Here's a group that were released last year, which are fantastic games. Of course, you got the Goon Enough, which is an adventure game done by Carlos Madruga.
Goonies, yep.
I love that box art.
It's amazing, isn't that? It's great. You can buy the ROM for that one from the Intellivision Collector. And then the other 2, these are Collector Vision releases. And I was lucky enough they did one reprint, and I had bought Goon Enough and I bought Gorf. But I got Death Race after the fact. I was really lucky to get
that. Sweet box art too, man. Look at that.
It's great.
And that's another one that I did on I think it was the June episode of Indie Homebrew Spotlight. I highlighted Death Race because it's pretty accurate for the arcade. Of course, that was a very simplistic arcade game, but still. Next stuff, real quickly, I'm going to show you is we're talking about Wizard of War, right, Chuck?
Yeah, Wizard. That's one of my favorites. That's one of my absolute favorites.
This is the group of 5 Dr. Ports creations. Now, Dr. Ports is basically a fictional programmer that was created because these are ports of other games, and they've been released. Absolutely, getting better all the time.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Dr. Port's basically a fictional person programmer pseudonym because they're actually, these are ports of arcade games. So I don't know if there's any licensing rights or whatever, but they're very small.
Was an arcade game? I thought that was NES. Isn't that the one where the guy proposed to somebody in the game, but it took like forever for somebody to find it?
Well, I know Clax was available on the Atari.
Wow. Okay. I must be thinking a different game then.
Yeah, maybe this one. I'm sure Clax was in the arcade too. Yeah, I'm very sure. Play the original arcade classic in your own house in the front of it. I mean,
absolutely.
So you got Fantasy, which is a very interesting type game. Not one that I was familiar with before. Cosmic Avenger, which is a scramble, Super Cobra type game. Everybody's favorite Wizard of War. And the voice, televoice game. Omega Race, which I loved Omega Race back when I was a kid. I loved playing it in the arcade. I wasn't real good at it, but that was the whole point, is to suck the quarters out of you, right? And of course, there's Clax, which was interesting because I got a very, very, very early copy of Clax and did it on the Indie Homebrew podcast. And then they never, with the board shortage and all the issues, it didn't get actually released to the public for close to a year afterwards. But it is available now. They've gone through 3, I think they're on the 3rd group of games printings from Intellivision Collector, so you can get that game right now. And check out my video on it where I do the review. There's a couple videos actually because, again, this is an IntelliVoice game. I didn't realize that when I first did it because it's in the manual. Somebody pointed out in the manual to me, but I just didn't see it. And I didn't think of Clax as needing a voice.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember in the arcade. I remember, wasn't Clax, if I'm not mistaken, was it Grand Theft Auto Vice City where you went into the club and there was a Clax arcade. You could walk up to it and actually play and then it turned into that game, and you could play it on your screen.
That's pretty cool.
So that's what I kind of remember that too.
That's pretty cool. And
go buy Clax while you're buying Vanguard.
Go buy Clax while absolutely. And then we have Electronite.
Wow,
Electronite
is a lot of games.
Electronite
old school
is a fantastic homebrew company that was started by Walter Prett, I think was his name, and then now it's owned by William Muller, who's from Canada. He's Canadian, living in Thailand right now. But he has lots of games coming down the pipe. He's probably been one of the most affected by the board shortages with the distances and the places that he lives. But he has so many titles coming this year. I'm just going to try to name them. Cat Attack, Robot Army, Infiltrator, Chuck. Infiltrator, right? So
hold on. Let me just, I'm sorry to interrupt. I already know he's doing like another thing right now. I don't care. But awesome for stopping in. I if you want to lurk and make fun of us, that's fantastic. Don't care.
Hi to you and your crowd.
Anyways, I'm sorry, Pete. Go on.
No worries. So this right here is a game that Electronite released, Steamroller, which was released in 2018, but it was actually a game that was created by David Rolfe back in the early 80s. It never got released for the original Mattel. Nice. Dave Rolfe being the creator of The Exec, of Major League Baseball, of Checkers, and of everybody's favorite shifty-eyed dealer, Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack.
Yes.
So this is a game from David Rolfe that he created back then, but it got tweaked and it finally got finished and released in 2018. We got Paddle Party, which is always interesting. That's how you can tell Electronite they're Canadian, because they got the Montreal Canadiens versus Toronto Maple Leafs on the cover. Old School, which is another maze type game. Very interesting game.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Hold those two down for the second. Then we have a game, one of the most complex and fantastic games ever created for the television homebrew. It is you can barely see it here, a tale of dragons and swords.
Oh yeah, it doesn't show up.
You got yours there too? Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
That gold does not show up well on screen at all. The cover art looks fantastic.
Oh,
I love the dragon.
It is. I got the reflection of the screen and everything, but you can't see it. But
it's so good.
It's a Dungeons and Dragons type adventure game. Amazing. Classics, Miner 2049er. Right? These games are still available different places. I do believe you could buy that on the IntellivisionCollector.com right now. There are copies available. Hover Bubber, you just played that, Chuck.
Yeah, I just did that one.
Right on. And then, of course, you played Lost Caves of Praz. I've seen you play that before, right?
Got through the first part of the level, the first bank of rooms. Like I think it's like 10 rooms a level, and I'm into the second. I only got through like a couple. But just another viewer. We're just saying there's over 150 homebrews. There is literally more. There's more, and there's there's almost like 30 of them coming out a year.
Yeah,
so
I think you guys said that a couple of times during the stream that there's
like it's reborn.
150 plus, which is more than the original 125.
Yep,
right.
Tons of them, always for sale.
It passed it last year. There were 27 released in 2021. There are going to be more than that this year, I believe. Boulder Dash, which again, that's a licensed game. Electronite, sometimes you call it homebrew, and we qualify it as homebrew, but they're not homebrew. Boulder Dash was a license that company went out and purchased in order to publish games. They're allowed to print so many copies of this game and sell them by license. That's not homebrew. That's a professional game creator. This is a full gatefold box, comes shrink wrapped, everything. So it's sort of, is it homebrew? Well, it's not some guy making it in his basement. There's everything about that. They hire programmers and they get the licenses and they create games like that. So they're fantastic quality. It's amazing.
They're new games for your old Intellivision. I mean, they're not, and they're made in a certain amount. They're not a homebrew to me would be more like, we made 12 of these. These are made at least in the hundreds, or more.
Something like that. They're going to make them till they're not selling anymore.
Right, and that's
the homebrew scene now is kind of different with the way they're selling everything. I think they're selling a lot more now than they used to.
Oh yeah,
so it's not as short runs of like 100 or 50 of them or something like that. There's a lot more of them.
I think the Atari homebrew scene is very big. I think the Intellivision homebrew scene is the biggest homebrew scene, though. I wouldn't put money on that. I just would have to argue that it's amazing. So there's Donkey Kong Arcade and D2K Arcade. Fantastic creations.
Not my favorite box art, but still very cute.
Yeah, it's not the best box art in the world, no, but it took Donkey Kong from the Coleco version that was so poor, and it showed what the system was actually capable of doing. And I played that on some of my streams, and people go, "Oh my god, that looks really good," and it plays really well.
And it's very arcade authentic, both in looks and the sounds. Like the cut screens, like how high can you get? It shows the monkey, and then it goes to and it has all the opening animations, the girder stomps. Like, and it was, and we were just talking about this on Monday, on the Monday show. Check us out every 7 p.m. Eastern on Monday.
That game, original DK Arcade, was made by Carl Mueller Jr. And what I have heard, like we've said about how, okay, now we can make games bigger, now we can do banking, now we can do this and that. My understanding is, and I'd have to look it up, but my understanding, what I've heard is that game right there, Donkey Kong Arcade, could have been made with the technology that was available in the 80s. Okay.
So we have a question from TV Hasselhoff related to info on Electronite putting out a request for an NT FPGA programmer.
I don't have any direct info, but I'll be sending a text to William to see what the scoop is. If it might be something I am kind of half aware of, because I do know of a few things coming down the pipe from them. But it's something that I will try to find the answer to in the next episode of Indie Homebrew News and Spotlight, which should be out. It probably won't be the 1st of September. It's more likely to be about the 4th or 5th.
So if you guys haven't, please subscribe to Papa Pete if you're interested in.
Absolutely.
He does a ton of content on all these homebrews. And I do as well, and we talk about it on our Monday show. But Pete's got that thing, and I was talking to William. He actually reached out to me about a certain homebrew that I might be able to get an advanced copy of, as well. That's coming out, and I think you know what I'm talking about. And we'll be showing that off on the Monday show and on the channel as well. But yeah, please subscribe, because he's got some great content on homebrews, the original 125, and a lot of Intellivision content.
That's a pretty amazing game right there, too, that they converted over.
Go.
That was like years.
I always get surprised by the box art on these things.
Isn't that great?
There's so much work on it.
Oh, yeah. Years in the making. The box art's fantastic. They're still available.
I love NES and Genesis artwork, but there's something about having genuine art on your box that's just impressive to me. It reminds me of like the early days of CDs where you'd have like the full cover, and then we'd like take a lot of time with a lot of the cover art for those before they started shrinking all the packaging.
What is that? I'm sorry. I'm trying to like.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to like relate.
Oh, that you talk about the shrink wrap you're talking about? That was opening out with shrink wrap on them? Or am I'm sorry.
I think they wanted like an opening of one of the games.
Oh, an unboxing.
Like they wanted to see an actual unboxing of one of the games.
Oh, to see like what it comes with, like what the
I think so. I think that was requested a little earlier, but yeah,
it was someone earlier, but it's jumping pretty fast.
Yeah, I think that's what they were asking about. Yes,
let's lead into that, because I'm going to show you one real quick that there aren't many copies of this out there right now.
TNT I want that so bad, Pete. TNT Cowboy.
That is shrink wrapped. I have that one.
Open it.
I'm not into keeping them closed. I just soon open them.
So that makes it easier to do maybe an unboxing while we're on screen. Cool.
Well,
sometimes that's a touchy subject with collectors. You never know.
I understand. I'm not going to do an unboxing of one of these here today. I'll open one. I'll open.
Yeah,
one
I can open up one of
mine. I'll open Balderdash up.
One that's open. Yeah.
But the last game that I have to show you is a bit of a sneak preview, and this is going to be the spotlighted game in the next episode of Indie Homebrew News and Spotlight. This is the pre-release copy. As of my first getting it, it's the only copy that had even been made. But this is a game that's going to be released in about the next 2 weeks from Electronite, and that is the Pandora Incident. And a lot of work has gone into that. That game right there by Team Pandora. And I will be doing a complete unboxing and some gameplay and a mini review, a lot of the same way I did with Infiltrator, or with there's a couple other games that I did it with back on the early episodes of the Indie Homebrew Spotlight. But I'll be doing an unboxing like Clax. I guess I really did Clax. I'll do an unboxing, and a little bit of gameplay, and we'll take a look at it. That's going to be the spotlight portion of the August episode, which should be out the first week of September. So if you want to see me open up Pandora Incident and you want to see it for the very first time anywhere, there is a clip on YouTube somewhere. Watch my show.
Awesome.
In about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
So many good games, man, and they're just still being made. It's just unbelievable. Let's pop this
one open right here. I'll do this kind of unboxing. It's not gonna. That's actually still shrink wrap, that one. But this one I've had out and I've been playing it and stuff like that. So Balderdash. Again, this is Electronite. Full gatefold box. Okay. There's your cartridge. It's
nice.
The cartridge, the end label. Right?
I wish they'd been able to do plastic. That I would feel so much more comfortable with the Intellivision games if it was plastic.
Oh, you're talking about the boxes. The boxes.
Yeah, the boxes.
Clamshell.
Not the cart. Yeah. The cart's obviously plastic, but
yeah, the boxes. That's how they were back at like the.
I know that's how they did it, and that's why they're doing it that way. It's just plastic just would make it so much more durable.
A brand new overlays. Some of those overlays are fantastic.
Yeah. You know, a lot of games didn't have overlays, even in the 125, especially towards the end. Parker Brothers games didn't have overlays for the most part. Most Coleco didn't. Mousetrap did.
I think the IMTV stuff didn't really.
But Roger, Psycho Stormtrooper made a complete set of like design and actually produced complete sets of overlays for them. And they're phenomenal. They're the ones you can actually buy. Like a lot of the games, he gave permission to Steve Roney to put out when you buy complete sets of flashback overlays for the Intellivision system off of the Blue Sky Rangers website. And like, for example, there's one there right now. I got my golden tickets in there, but like, show you a Psycho Stormtrooper overlay.
Oh yeah, these
never had them. Of course, I won't see one that doesn't have one for a while. Okay, like here, Super Pro Decathlon did not have an overlay. That's one made by Psycho Stormtrooper. Okay.
So that's Decathlon. Okay, yeah, I have a complete unboxed Decathlon. It doesn't have the. I don't think it has overlays, right?
There are no overlays with it when it came out.
Yeah, because the IMTV release, the Super Pros never did. Yeah,
that's right. That's right. Super Pro Hockey and I think World Championship Baseball and stuff. Some of them did, but not very many.
I don't think Chip Shot had any, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it did.
Wouldn't surprise me if it didn't. Nope. I'll just try to look and see if there's any other. Oh, like this. Learning Fun too.
Oh my God.
Right.
And all this is I like how all it is a number pad that's already on there.
Yeah.
I just like that they did overlays for everything. I think that's great. Yeah,
it is
Here's
cool.
One you might have seen because that's just been used as the photo for the Evercave release of Intellivision 2.
Yeah.
The second Intellivision collection. And that is Psycho Stormtrooper overlay right there. Now I think that's kind of what's on the box as well, but still, it's kind of interesting to see. Anyway, back to this real quick. We got the manual. Okay, so the manual for all their games, try to get the right spot, is hard to see here, but it's a nice color manual, staple manual in the middle. Very well done, very well written. I think William does a lot of the manual designs himself, and he just does a top-notch job. So,
wait till we see the Infiltrator one. I heard it's like over 40 pages long.
Pages. Yep. Yeah. I've done quite a bit with Infiltrator on the channel already, and I will be doing some more soon, hopefully, very soon. But it's just been a busy couple of weeks for me, so it's kind of fallen back a little bit. But it'll be the 4th or 5th, I think, of September before I can get the next for the August edition, because I wait for the news of August to happen.
Yeah.
What's some of the biggest news? Vanguard and The Show Must Go On are available right now on IntellivisionCollector.com. So fantastic to see him coming into the publishing business. And that's it, Chuck.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate all the talk about that, man. That was well, let me get back to her. There we go.
Oh, thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
I don't know if I missed any questions, guys. Please, I'll pay more attention.
I'm trying to keep up with them for the most part. But yeah, no,
you're kind of keeping up with chat. I'm trying to help out a little bit here and there because you guys are far more invested in this topic than I am because I'm not a big Intellivision collector.
Right.
I never really got into that scene, so I'm kind of leaving it to you guys and trying to point out questions as I see them.
Did you ever get an Intellivision, Nick?
I did not.
Huh.
I should probably pick up a flashbackers. I've got
I
some of the
wouldn't mind.
Evercade carts I really do need to open up and dig into. I need to do more with my Evercade. That's bad on my
want to
part.
break into
I
the
might have
television
seen-
business, get a hold of Luke and tell it, because Luke, Viking Stew just got one. He's like up to 30 games already.
I know. You guys dropped him like, what was it, 30 or 60 games or something crazy?
Yeah. It's Jeff's up to 70, 71 or 72 now. I think he got a couple more this week.
I don't have a CRT TV to hook these things up to or anything like that. So I don't have an old school TV.
You know, PJ Smith, I believe he's in the chat right now, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Oh, all dress chips. Nice.
Chuck, it's not Canadian. This is from the dollar store in St. Louis, Missouri.
That's what I figured. I got an insanely awesome. You sent it to me because he got a
QVC commercial with all those homebrew games.
Well, I have a modded Intellivision.
That's pretty good, Jim.
I have a modded Intellivision here that has a fully built-in professional 3-jack RCA mod, and then it's also got a cooling fan built into it, so you can hook this up to a modern TV. The same person that does this, PJ was telling me, also makes Intellivision's HDMI compatible. So if you were interested,
that would make far more sense for me, because like if I having the 3-plug jacks, like the RCA cables, would probably work.
And it does.
Most of my TVs will do component, or they'll do HDMI. They might do RCA to a limited extent. But it's better to have either component or HDMI. Well, that's just the case with most modern TVs.
I might go and see that. I mean, not right now because I need to save my money for a bit, but also because I have to buy the ATARI Vanguard or the Intellivision Vanguard. But I'm going to look into getting one of the HDMI ones. I love this one because it works, because I have an HDMI adapter, so I plug the 3 jacks into that and it goes into my computer. So I'm good to go. So the RCAs are still I'm guessing they're probably cheaper too, but.
Well, and they I'm sure they, like you said, you got a converter, right, to take it from RCA to be able to hook up to your computer either through USB or HDMI. I'd imagine.
Well, I got it's a RCA to HDMI converter right here. Oops.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. So
it's real easy. You just plug the 3 jacks in. It's like a box this big. So either way, to be honest, that might be the way to go. And then you just throw your because I mean, literally. It's the clearest picture. I mean, I know HDMI is ultimately clear, which it is with Pete's flashback is amazing. But yeah, I guess the guy that PJ was telling me, the guy that does this, I believe, is in Michigan, and he actually does HDMIs. And I was like, oh my God, that would even be insane, because I have like 3-4 Intellivision consoles laying around, and 2 of them have broken RFs, especially the one I was going to mod myself. So if I might just take them in and have them all HDMI or RCA, made into those. But if that's the case, I get a couple, I'll send you one, man. Like I have a ton of consoles, or I mean, I have enough.
Dude, you don't need to ship me anything, dude.
But I mean,
I'll get
like to get into it,
or just dig into my Evercade stuff. It'd probably be better to play the Intellivisions on a straight up Intellivision just because of the keypad.
Oh,
it's kind of like playing ColecoVision. It's a little frustrating to emulate.
Dreadful.
Not because of the controls all the time, but because picking like what difficulty level and all that stuff when the setup is kind of a pain in the butt sometimes.
Nick, as like somebody who that high started playing television and loved it, and then sort of just fade away. It was so frustrating when you started to be able to play other things. You could never play in television games because of the controls.
Yep,
and
that's something that a lot of people pointed out that I think is kind of a lost market, because you've got classic consoles like the Atari 5200, the Intellivision, and the ColecoVision that all had those keypads.
Yeah,
that it should be very easy to make a USB connectable controller has a keypad. There's no reason there shouldn't be one.
I saw something somewhere. Where did I see Pete? Were you talking about that, or I saw it, something online that I actually saw in a forum that showed a ton of these USB made like basically homebrew controllers that you could use for like Intellivision or Coleco, anything with a number pad.
There was some being made, but I don't think they're USB. Maybe I'm wrong and they are, but there's a new controller coming out by Cote Gamers that's being released here later this month. Should be anytime this month.
Oh, yeah, Christian Martin said a new NT controller's coming.
Yeah.
So okay, that's great.
Those must be the ones you're talking about.
Now, if they start working that into RetroArch and other emulators, that would be great. Or even just letting you plug it in and use it on, say, like your 360 with some of the collections and stuff like that. That would be amazing too. I don't know that they'll work that in there, but that would be a great thing to have.
Yeah. No,
but if I could plug an Intellivision style controller with a number pad and stuff into my VS and play some of those games in HDMI, that would work too. Anything with a USB.
Right. It just depends if you can map it. That's the problem. When you start emulating stuff like that, you have to be able to map the controller.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're not always set up for you to be able to map something that
has
I don't know a keypad like that.
I doubt that is. Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge for me for any emulation setup, frankly. RetroPie, everything is the mapping the controllers. And
well, I mean, for most systems, it's not a big deal. When you start talking like N64, like Atari 5200, and Intellivision, ColecoVision, it's more problematic. And even Dreamcast was a little sketchy. They've kind of worked through that, but they might be able to set, like, say, a configuration file that you could manually configure it or copy someone's config and have it map it all out, and then the emulator can just read it. It just depends on what people want to work up, right?
Yeah. Meggy says he wants to use a Nokia phone for my controller in honor of AMICO.
That was, I mean,
if you could get it plugged in, I don't see the reason.
You could play Snake. You could play Snake and Astro Smash on the old Nokia phone, sir.
This was always my. I'm old time Intellivision, and I love the Intellivision name. I loved all the things they did up through Keith's era and the flashback, and it's all beautiful. And I was really excited when the AMICO was coming because I always associate that with bringing the older stuff, the homebrews, more accessibility to all of us. Like I've said it 1,000 times. What did I want to do with the AMICO? I wanted to call up,
play online,
go out play Nick a game of Major League Baseball online.
Yeah,
that's all I cared about. Newer games are fine, and they needed to have those, but that wasn't what I was interested in from it. And I don't.
You're looking for the packs of the old games or the original games. Me too. I love that.
Play old games online, and I don't think that wasn't going to happen anyway. At least not for a while. But there's still, who knows? There could be other avenues that see that coming. Yeah, it'd be great to see it happen.
But anyways, I guess we'll call it an evening. Wow, we went over an hour, over hour and 20.
Yeah, it's almost an hour and a half. Well, I mean, we have Papa Pete on here talking homebrew, so
which is awesome,
an easy
man.
Topic. This is an easy topic to keep going.
Late to the show. But yeah, so I know that they're planning to do that. I know they're going to release like a sports pack and a action pack. I think they're going to release all the classic stuff in packs as well. But if they ever end up doing that type of thing, where you can play online, even if it's just peer-to-peer online, and I don't even really need to have I know they're trying to keep it kid-friendly and family-friendly and stuff like that, but I would really like that. I mean, even now, I think that might be, that might have been what they originally were considering, but I mean, if they could put controls on it or parental controls or whatever you want to call it, I still think I'd, like you said, if I could play a game of Major League Baseball and just sign in and not even have to talk to anybody, but I know that I'm playing with you, that's good enough,
Sure.
I could be like, oh man, I could text you and go, that was good, but to have that option to play an online person.
You guys could just hop on Discord. I mean, I work around that stuff all the time. Like the Nintendo's online voice chat is garbage. So I end up just using my phone and hooking some headphones in using Discord.
Yeah.
Just do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that when they were talking about this, they were into, and I know at least Tommy said this a while back, but if they get up and going, they have really good relationships in television themselves, obviously, because they're making television homebrews with all these homebrew publishers, and I'm very sure they'd be happy to. And don't quote me because I don't work for the company, but I'm saying I think they would be really down to do packs of homebrews for the AMICO if it came out. So if someone wants to play Boulder Dash or Space Raid or The Show Must Go On or stuff like that, I think that would be a sweet.
I think that'd be a great addition to be able to bring out there, and it's another revenue stream for those developers, right? Which is 100%. Always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely support. But anyways, I want to thank everyone in the chat. Thank you for being awesome and being civil for the most part. Anyways, I want to thank Papa Pete for joining us. Please check out our show, Astro Smash. It's all classic Intellivision and homebrew talk on, and as well as game challenges. every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on this channel. Please subscribe to Papa Pete's channel. And what do you have coming up on your channel?
I'm still. Oh, Pete, go Pete.
Oh yeah, go Pete.
You're pointing at me. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. No,
I overstepped.
You're next, sir. You're next.
Couple pickup videos coming up. Going to be playing this game for the Astro Smash Mondays challenge, and of course working on the Indie Homebrew News and Spotlight, which will be out in about a week and a half, and hopefully slide a 125 in there very, very soon as well, because I got to get 2 out quickly to catch up with my bet with the Intellivision Aries podcast. So
I have a feeling there's going to be maybe an Atari title in the next for the next 125 spotlight or whatever. I messed that one up.
it will be started as an Atari title. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I think you know where I'm going with that.
I
guess I'm really digging myself a hole when I say that.
I think you dug it.
Anyway, that's awesome. Nick,
I need to be within throwing range so I can just throw something at you, sir.
The Geek Historian, a fantastic channel that's wildly growing. And what do you got coming
it's
up?
Scaring me a little. It's freaking me out. I'm not gonna lie.
It's because it's you're just doing gaming history, man, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. It's
everybody likes to see that. It's
just stuff like game history and like odd gaming peripherals and like just the random moments in gaming history and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just it's closing in on 500. What the hell?
It's insane, man. You're growing faster than I could ever imagine.
It's really weird. So I did drop a video today. On a video, I almost have to look it up every time because I always stumble over the name because it's almost a tongue twister. The Cosmic Commander Controller, which came with Survival Run, if you guys are familiar with the 2600. A couple of people have covered that, but I wanted to cover both the controller and kind of go a little bit into the game. I didn't go into so much as to what it influenced, which is what I usually try to do with that series, because I don't really feel like it really influenced much. It was just kind of a really cool looking controller that I probably would have geeked out on if I'd had it in that day and age, because it came out in '83, right? I mean, who didn't want to like have like a cool little laser sight controller that like lit up and did vibrations when you were that age? I mean, come on, that's just cool.
It's better than a foot craze, right?
I don't know, man. That foot craze is pretty dope.
The original power pad. The original power pad came out on the Atari 2600. Let's just put it there.
Did I got that one from Panda Sub, by the way. That was on his trivia thing. I'm like, wait, that was a thing? So I had to start looking into that one. And yes, you did, sir. You absolutely did. It is far and away exceeding in every way what I thought it was going to do. It is crazy.
Oh, this is awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. All the supporters, all the subscribers, please subscribe on your way out and hit the like button, and all the trolls and all the lurkers and apparently people that use our content
hi people, it's good to see everybody.
Thanks a lot.
Even if I'm not talking to you directly, hi. It's good to see you.
Take care, everyone. Oh,
hey guys,
bye.
thanks for having me on, man.